Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo to present the news. Our top stories in the news tonight. Government challenged to look beyond the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Police in SAMFYA arrest a 40-year-old man for defiling his 14-year-old stepdaughter. Witchcraft undermining the social cash transfer program in SHAN'GOMBO district. In international news, South African President CYRIL RAMAPHOSA tells Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war with Ukraine. And in sports news, head of Zambian mission in Morocco visits COSAFA Cup team.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
The FAR's 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
Another news in detail. Some residents of SHAN'GOMBO district in Western Province are not receiving their social cash transfer funds based on witchcraft claims. In an interview with Camnet TV News, Headman Masiala says a lot of people have begun bewitching each other over social cash transfer due to jealousy. Meanwhile, the headman says there is a high level of illiteracy in SHAN'GOMBO district as the majority depend on those who are educated to resolve conflicts in the village. More in the following report.
Social cash transfer plays a direct role in reducing poverty in Zambia. The cash transfer scheme aims to assist the most destitute and incapacitated household in society to meet their basic needs, particularly health, education, food and shelter. However, in the western part of Zambia, to be specific in SHAN'GOMBO district, it is said that a lot of people have allegedly begun to bewitch each other over social cash transfer due to jealousy. In an interview with Camnet News, Headman Masiela alleges that many are forced to relocate to nearby villages due to the same. He has also alleged that there is an equal distribution of social cash transfer, as people that are seen to be educated are given more privilege.
Kufumane hakuri mwaminzi luli sina muwa zama bangola batu.
There is an equal distribution of social cash transfer, as people that are beefed off are the ones being given. People here in SHAN'GOMBO district have begun bewitching each other over social cash transfer due to jealousy.
Meanwhile, the headman says there is a high level of illiteracy in SHAN'GOMBO district, as the majority depend on those who are educated to resolve conflicts in the village.
Here in SHAN'GOMBO district, there is a high level of illiteracy. You can walk about 90 kilometers just to find another educated person. So, most people depend on those who are educated to find solution and resolve conflict in the village. People here fear the educated ones. You can't voice out. Even if the same person wrongs you, because you will need them in the future.
Through the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, the government has been implementing the Social Cash Transfer Program since 2003. The program is also in line with government's 7th National Development Plan vision of accelerating development effort toward Vision 2030 without leaving anyone behind.
People are still complaining that they've been left out, but normally there is a guideline which is normally followed. So the enumerators are given guidelines and they are given tablets. So information is normally captured on the tablet whilst interviewing the beneficiaries, which immediately is uploaded on Zipsys. So it states what sort of a criteria that person was selected on. And then if at all they don't meet the need, they are normally dropped out from the system.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Residents of Western Province have complained that they are unable to benefit from the Constituency Development Fund (CDF), despite the government's intentions to empower them through the program. In an interview with a Mongo resident, Lako Wamunyima wonders why only a few individuals are benefiting from the CDF grants when the program is meant to benefit everyone. Meanwhile, in SHAN'GOMBO district, residents have also expressed the same complaint, further adding that there is also a delay in completing CDF projects. More in this report.
Complaints from citizens on how they are failing to benefit from the Constituency Development Fund continues, with some residents in Western Province complaining that they are unable to benefit despite the government's intention to empower them through the program. The Constituency Development Fund (CDF) has been increased to 28.3 million kwacha, but despite its increase, many who hope to benefit from it through the cooperative see no result. Lako Wamunyima, a Mongo resident, runs a small vegetable business. She too had hopes of benefiting. In an interview with Camnet News, she wonders why only a few individuals are benefiting when the program is meant to empower everyone.
Now, the complaint is the president doesn't want to come and visit us here because possibly we would love the president to come and visit us so that you come and complain my complaints are to Kuliva president. That's why we have voted for him. Because Kuno Western Province, one, CDF is not seen. Out of 200 marketeers or 500 marketeers, there are only 20 or 25 who got that so-called grants or CDF. So we are complaining to the President Peter to come to our aid so that he come and listen to our complaints. We want him physically to come and visit us.
Meanwhile, in SHAN'GOMBO district, residents have also expressed the same complaint.
Empowerment Fund. You'll find that some members, some committees are requesting money, and the money they are given is less contrary to what they've been thinking to get so that they can improve their lives. And also you'll find that when we listen from the radios, some of the other districts in somewhere else, like Copper Belt and other areas, you'll find that maybe 20 groups they have been funded, 40 groups have been funded, but here you'll find that maybe very less. So the question is the money the same which they are given to those areas and to SHAN'GOMBO?
Constituency Development Fund is intended to support community-led developmental projects that are aligned with national development priorities. Its purpose is to provide funding for infrastructure projects such as schools, healthy facilities and roads, as well as social and economic development projects. With enhanced publicity on the expanded CDF, the program can change many more lives than it is doing now. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A grade 7 pupil of Choma district in Southern Province, Lloyd Mwala, has called on government to provide alternative measures to address charcoal burning, which is the main source of livelihood in rural communities. The pupil says most parents in rural communities survive on charcoal burning while disregarding its effects on the climate. Meanwhile, Keepers Foundation Zambia Executive Director Ezra Banda says government needs to redirect its climate change efforts to focusing on climate adaptation and like mitigation. More in the following report.
Zambia is highly prone to the effects of climate change, including increased temperatures, variable rainfall patterns, and extreme weather conditions such as droughts and floods as experienced in recent years. These changes pose significant threats to the country's agricultural sector, water resources, energy production, and overall socio-economic development. The need to prioritize adaptation measures in the country, especially among rural communities, cannot be ignored. As such, a grade 7 pupil of Choma, Lloyd Mwala, believes in the quest to provide climate-adaptive measures. Alternatives to charcoal burning should be realized in order to cut down on the effects of climate change in the country, citing that charcoal burning is a major contributor to climate change.
We all know that in Southern Province, especially in Choma district, they depend on charcoal burning. So, as a result, deforestation, which is the main impact of contributing climate change. So, I can give you an example of charcoal burning. There is a lot of charcoal burning. How does it affect us as we school-going children? We are forced to go to sell charcoal instead of going to school. Even if you come back home at time, you can't go to school if you are tired or you are an empty stomach. Or even if you go, you can't concentrate on learning. So our appeal from you, the Honorable Minister of Green Economy, is that you should introduce good skills, good driver skills, to empower our pies so that they do not depend on charcoal burning.
In essence, climate adaptation is understood as the process of adjusting to the current and future effects of climate change, while mitigation means making the impacts of climate change less severe by preventing or reducing the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Meanwhile, Keepers Foundation Zambia Executive Director Ezra Banda says the country has for a long time focused on climate mitigation, unlike adaptation, which it describes as unfortunate.
Even if the rains come, with you, your life will be as usual. It won't be disturbed. So even now, even these people in the communities who are affected by floods, if they are given enough information and their capacity is strengthened, when you strengthen the capacity of people, is that you look at what could be their alternative livelihood away from the one which is vulnerable to climate change, then which means you are building the issues of adaptation. So early warning, disaster risk management, all those need to come in. People need to be warned in advance. What happened in, is it Kamwara South, where we found people houses completely submerged. So if they had information in advance, at least they could have saved their assets. A lot of assets were destroyed. This is because of not having adequate and accurate information.
The call to protect the environment by effectively safeguarding the country's ecosystem is crucial to everyone. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Citizens Environmental and Social Concern, CESCO, has emphasized the need for government to improve mining regulations in the country in order to bring an end to illegal mining activities. In an interview with Camnet News, CESCO Executive Director Cornel Hakapia observes that there is a lot of unregulated mining, especially in the northern part of the country. Mr. Hakapia says government needs to halt illegal mining in the country as it is a danger to the environment.
The mining regulations in this country, we really need to see to it that we improve, especially with inspection and implementation of the laws that we have in our country. There's a lot of unregulated and illegal mining that is taking place, especially on the northern part of our country. A few months ago, there was that manganese poisoning around. We haven't had any update with regards to what is transpiring now to those people who were affected in the area. And it is on record that a lot of illegal mining is taking place, and we don't know how they are practicing the same mining, the health and safety, and where they're disposing of whatever that they're disposing of. Is it finding itself in waterways and in our general environment? That is not very good, and it's very dangerous, even for not only for the adults who are doing that, but also for the children in the villages around where that is transpiring. We need a concerted effort from the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, and also most importantly the Ministry of Mine, to see to it that they push up the inspections with regards to illegal minings in our country.
The opposition Democratic Party has implored government to rectify issues surrounding the Konkola copper mines KCM. The Zambian government at Vedanta opted to resolve matters outside court. However, discussions have been protracted, thus undermining the economic viability of the copper belt and the country at large. Ms. Kabemba says KCM is key to Zambia's mining sector, thus urging the government to resolve the matter.
President, Minister of Mines and the entire cabinet to make a quick decision regarding the issue of Konkola copper mine. I think the delay has been too much, and this has continued to kill the mine. We have been asking that the President should make a decision so that production, growth and continuity in the mining sector can be seen. As at now, as DP, we want to be very frank and also to advise government that the situation on the copper belt is not as good as it seems. I think our people are getting jobless every day and our mines are dying. We know that the President and his government are making serious strides to make sure that these issues are resolved. But I also feel that it has taken too much time. We need to be decisive. We need to make sure that things are done. We have, as Democratic Party, stated our position that we know that the major shareholder of KCM is Vedanta. 80% shareholding is a lot. ZCMIH only has 20%. That puts us at a very disadvantaged position when it comes to negotiation. And especially that the matter is out of court. I think it's time that we settle this matter and we have the mine working on well.
National Democratic Congress President Saboy Imboela has charged that it is illogical for the United Party for National Development UPND administration to put all hopes of economic recovery in an International Monetary Fund package. Ms. Imboela has charged that no country has ever fully recovered upon implementing an IMF program. The NDC president has advised government to look beyond the IMF and come up with homegrown solutions. Here's a report.
Zambia has struggled to find relief to deal with creditors to whom it owes an estimated $18.6 billion since it became the first African country unable to repay its foreign debt in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. It sought help to restructure its debt through the G20 mechanism, which is co-chaired by France and China, but its implementation has been slow. Republican President Hakainde Hichilema recently described the debt as being like a python around Zambia's neck, and Finance Minister and National Planning Dr. Stombeko Musokotwane during the first quarter of 2023 Budget and Economic Performance Analysis said debt restructuring is key towards unlocking additional International Monetary Fund IMF financing, as well as attracting new foreign investment that will help to revive the economy and create new jobs.
We have shared concrete proposals with both the Official Credit Committee and the advisors of the controllers. So given the proposals, we are now awaiting the response, and we will be pushing hard to ensure that this is done as quickly as possible.
But National Democratic Congress President Saboy Imboela has advised the UPND administration to look beyond the IMF program and find homegrown solutions.
Zambia does have a lot of minerals. Look at the sugilites right now. Look at the copper, look at the gold, the diamonds that are being discovered in every corner of this country. And those are the things that we need to utilize. Also the tax regimes, you know, why is it that they're giving tax holidays to the mines, you know, and then the same money that they can make from the taxes, that is the money that they're going to IMF to go and beg. So what is happening right now is that the UPND is definitely not running this country properly, because if they are running this country properly, they would ensure that issues to do with their production, issues to do with the mines, issues to do with taxation were things that would be done properly. The IMF has never made any country develop anywhere in this world. We have seen that with the tigers, the countries which they call the tigers and the BRICS, they had to develop in a record time, you know, all these economic theories, or rather the development theories which we hear of, whereby you have to take certain stages and years to develop. We have seen from the tigers that at the end of the day, if you really utilize what you have as a country and then go out there and ensure that you produce and sell to the world, you can definitely develop in record time.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Republican President Hakainde Hichilema says the trip to Ukraine and Russia by 7 African heads of state was aimed at restoring global peace and not to ask for food. Speaking shortly after returning from the war-torn region at Lusaka, Zambia Air Force Base, President Hichilema told journalists that honest meetings were held to stop the conflict that has claimed thousands of people and displaced many in Ukraine and Russia. He expressed happiness that the two presidents, Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky, were willing to accommodate them to discuss the restoration of peace between the two nations. The head of state reiterated Zambia's position to help in resolving the crisis that characterized some African countries through various peace missions. More in the following report.
While some opposition political leaders criticized President Hichilema's trip to war-torn Ukraine and Russia, the Republican president says the trip to the two countries by the 7 heads of state focused on peace talks and not asking for aid. He says war affects everyone, hence when there is war somewhere, there is war everywhere.
That's why we've maintained our view that instability anywhere, conflict anywhere, is instability everywhere. You all know the effect of that on all of us across the world. So we took a peace mission to seek peace, negotiations, so we can restore order in those countries.
But we say the point there that I would like the media to pick. We didn't go there to ask for food. No. This mission was very clear. We are not there for gifts. We are not there for any philanthropic issues. We are there to restore peace.
While in Russia, South African President CYRIL Ramaphosa on Saturday told his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin that the conflict in Ukraine had to stop through negotiations and diplomatic means, as African countries have been divided over their response to the conflict, with some siding with Ukraine while others have remained neutral or gravitated towards Moscow. 7 African heads of state held talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv on Friday, where Comoros President Azali Osmani, who currently heads the African Union, encouraged the Ukrainian president to enter into negotiations with Russia. Speaking shortly after returning from the war-torn region at the Lusaka, Zambia Air Force Base, President Hichilema expressed happiness that Putin and Zelensky were open for negotiations. The head of state says Zambia is keen to help in resolving the crisis that has characterized some African countries through various peace missions.
And I'm sure now you understand why, as your servant, I've been talking about the importance of national unity here. No matter what our issues are, national unity, peace, security, stability of Zambia is important for our economic social growth. We shouldn't export instability. If we have instability in Zambia, we're affecting everyone else around us and beyond. As we have seen on that conflict, imported inflation.
President Hichilema told journalists that honest meetings were held to stop the conflict that has claimed thousands of people and displaced many in Ukraine and Russia. During the peace mission, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Friday stated that peace talks would require Moscow to withdraw its forces from occupied Ukrainian territory, something Russia has said is not negotiable. But Putin echoed his position that Ukraine and its Western allies had started the conflict long before Russia sent its armed forces over the border in February last year, something they deny. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News in Lusaka.
New Congress Party leader Peter Chanda has described the fight against corruption as a sham aimed at fixing perceived political opponents. Speaking with Camnet News, Pastor Chanda claims that there is no political will to fight current corruption, despite President Hakainde Hichilema's assurances to unselectively fight graft. He charges that government is systematically weakening foresight institutions such as the Office of the Auditor General to avoid being held accountable for any maladministration.
Corruption under the new administration can only be described as a scam meant to deter attention from the mistake that they are doing and people focusing on the mistakes of the previous regime. We can't have a one-sided fight against corruption. Really, the fight against corruption under the new Dawn administration is a scam, and I want the new Dawn administration and President Hichilema himself to desist from showing that they are the government of angels. Secondly, you can't be fighting a constitutional office bearer in the name of DECEIVE, the Auditor General. You can't be bringing out unnecessary transfers of people who are competent and putting in people that are incompetent. When you see information leaking from government agencies, it shows you that people are discontent, people are not happy, and people are revolting against your leadership. So President Hichilema, I want you to be wary of the fact that you are remaining with 2 years and some months in office.
Kabata constituency member of Parliament Andrew Tayengwa regrets that Jack Compound has remained without a health centre even after 58 years of Zambia's independence. Mr. Tayengwa is saddened that people have to go as far as Chawama constituency and the University Teaching Hospital to access health services. Speaking with Camnet TV News, the lawmaker has since called on religious groupings to complement the government's efforts in addressing health-related problems.
Places like in Kamlanga, which is Jack Compound, together with Kamwala South, but I will concentrate much on Kamlanga because that is the only ward that is actually the least developed. They do not have a health post. Yet, if you look at the catchment area of Kamlanga, we have over 62,000 inhabitants, meaning that there is need for us to have a health post there, because most of the time, when that if a woman is pregnant and she wants to give birth, she will either have to travel to Chawama or Chilanga or even UTH. But if it's in the night and we do not have transportation, then we have a challenge. So we are thinking of engaging our brothers, if you can assist us, to set up either the first level hospital, a hospital that at least can accommodate and minimize the movements of the people of Kamlanga. Because if we can set up a first level hospital in Kamlanga, then it means that our catchment area will extend to SHAN'GOMBO, extend also to Chilanga, to also extend to parts of Chawama constituency. So basically, there's a number of things that we are actually looking at, and we are hoping that our partners who in development, who happens to be the church and our Muslim brothers and also the Hindu Association, they can come on board and assist us on how best we can improve the living standards of our people. Because government alone cannot have the capacity, or they cannot even have the money to do some of the projects which can easily be done by the religious groupings, organization that we have within the country.
This is Camnet Television Main News. Join us for more news after the break.
The COSAFA Bangwena Organizing Committee proudly present Legacy on the Greens, a prestigious golf tournament commemorating the 10th anniversary of Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's reign. Join us as we tee off with Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II on the 23rd of June at the exquisite Bonanza Golf Course in Lusaka, Zambia, for a day of elegance, camaraderie, and regal competition. Legacy on the Greens, celebrating Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's 10th anniversary on the throne. Don't miss this regal affair. Reserve your place today.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
The FARS 2022-2023 season is over and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. A 40-year-old man from SAMFYA district of Luapula province has been arrested for defiling his 14-year-old stepdaughter. According to a statement issued by the police, the victim was defiled by her stepfather, only identified as Mr. Kaunda, in April 2023, after her mother left home to work in the field for harvest for a period of time. Police Assistant Public Relations Officer Godfrey Chilabi says the victim was abused on multiple occasions and only revealed the ordeal to her grandmother in June, who reported the matter to the police. Meanwhile, the Zambia police have also arrested a 45-year-old man identified as Smart Zulu for allegedly stabbing his wife, identified as Barbara Zulu, and another man who he suspected of being in a love affair with his wife.
Police in SAMFYA district of Luapula province arrested a 40-year-old man for allegedly defiling his 14-year-old stepdaughter. On June 17, 2023, around 12 hours, police received a report of defilement from the victim's 60-year-old grandmother, who reported on behalf of her granddaughter. The victim stated that she was defiled by her stepfather, only identified as a Mr. Kaunda of SAMFYA district, and police immediately instituted investigations into the matter. Preliminary investigations indicate that sometime in April 2023, the victim's mother left home to work in the field for harvest for a period of time, leaving the victim alone with his stepfather. The suspect would frequently enter the victim's bedroom and had carnal knowledge of her on multiple occasions. The victim was threatened with death if she disclosed the incidents to anyone. In June 2023, the victim revealed the ordeal to her grandmother, who promptly reported the matter to police. As a result of the abuse, the victim is said to be 1 month pregnant. The suspect is currently detained in police custody, awaiting court appearance. Meanwhile, in Solwezi district, police recovered 26 pieces of suspected elephant tusks and apprehended one suspect in connection with the same. This occurred on June 17, 2023, around 16 hours at the Mutanda police security checkpoint. A brief account of the incident is that alert police officers manning the checkpoint intercepted a Lukumo bus with registration number SCZ01. The bus was en route from Mongo to Sowezi with passengers on board. During a thorough search of the bus, officers discovered 4 wrapped boxes containing pieces of suspected ivory tusks. The owner of the contraband fled the scene but was later apprehended in Sowezi town center. He has been identified as Kabanga Mutombo, a 45-year-old resident of Nangweshi in Sioma district, and is believed to be a Congolese national. The suspect has since been handed over to the Department of National Parks and Wildlife officers for further investigations. Police in Chongwe district arrested a 45-year-old man identified as Smart Zulu for allegedly stabbing his wife identified as Babla Zulu and another man who is suspected of being in a love affair with his wife. The incident occurred on June 17, 2023, around 17 hours in Chongwe district. Police received a report of unlawful wounding from 2 victims, namely Barbara Zulu, age 32, and Patson Kandela, age 39, both residents of Chongwe. They reported that they were unlawfully wounded by Mr. Zulu. Barbara Zulu sustained a deep cut on the head, while Patson Kandela sustained a deep cut on the abdomen and right hand. The facts in brief are that the suspect found his wife seated together with Patson Kandela and suspected them of being in a relationship. He then got a knife and stabbed both of them. The victims are admitted to Chongwe District Hospital where they were rushed for medical attention. The suspect is currently detained in police custody.
An anti-bleaching activist, Beatrice Kunda, has expressed concern at the continued increasing number of women and men in Zambia bleaching their skin. Mrs. Kunda tells Camnet TV News that bleaching is slowly being taken as normal among men and women in the country. She says bleaching has many effects on the human body, such as cancer, failure to put stitches after a surgery operation, and complications in the fetus, among others. Mrs. Kunda has since discouraged Zambians from bleaching their skin, but look for available cosmetic lotions that will take care of their skin.
Bleaching on women, they have skin cancer. Bleaching causes skin cancer. On women who are pregnant, when they are bleaching, eventually the bleaching ingredients, the steroids affect the unborn baby, and sometimes the baby is born with complications of bleaching. And apart from that, when there are complications during delivery and there is need for cesarean section, they can't be stitched because the skin can't close. Yeah, those are the dangers. Apart from that, some lose eyesight because those chemicals penetrate through the eyes and start causing the eyes to have problems.
Youths in Luwansha have appealed to the government to nationalize some old buildings which were used for mining and turn them into sports complexes. Vincent Chiana, a youth activist, says turning the old buildings into sports complexes will help youths in their locality to restrain from alcohol abuse and other illicit activities. Meanwhile, a youth-led foundation, Vision Kid, says some buildings have been dormant for some time and once given to the youths will help empower them.
Where we are, it has been abandoned for a longer period of time, and see the structure of it. It's so magnificent. If the government is to utilize this or to make it a talent show center, so that we, the people in the community, are benefiting from it. We, the people, are utilizing this building in a way that is pleasing, in the way that is adding value to the nation. It will be a good gesture and appreciated. It will even be into avoidance of certain issues that we are even fighting against for, like substance abuse. We talk of teenage pregnancy. We talk of early marriages.
A lot of youths out there have been taken by drug abuse, early pregnancies, and so on and so forth. Those are the things we're trying to work against. Yes.
You're watching Camnet Television. We'll take a second and final break. Join us for more in international sports news.
The FAR's 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
The COSAFA Bangwena Organizing Committee proudly present Legacy on the Greens, a prestigious golf tournament commemorating the 10th anniversary of Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's reign. Join us as we tee off with Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II on the 23rd of June at the exquisite Bonanza Golf Course in Lusaka, Zambia, for a day of elegance, camaraderie, and regal competition. Legacy on the Greens, celebrating Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's 10th anniversary on the throne. Don't miss this regal affair. Reserve your place today.
Welcome back. In the international news, South African President CYRIL Ramaphosa, who is in Russia as part of a peace-seeking delegation on Saturday, told his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin that the conflict in Ukraine had to stop. He added that his delegation, consisting of 7 African leaders, would like this war to be ended. On Friday, the delegation held talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kiev. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
The African leaders' peace delegation on Saturday met Russian President Vladimir Putin in St. Petersburg with calls to end escalation in Ukraine topping the agenda of the meeting. The South African President CYRIL Ramaphosa told his Russian counterpart that the conflict in Ukraine must be settled through negotiations and through diplomatic means.
We do believe that this is the time for both parties to negotiate an end to this war, because this war is causing a great deal of instability and harm to various countries around the world. And we as African countries are feeling the impact of this war.
On the other hand, President Putin poured cold water on their plan that was already dismissed by Zelensky on Friday, terming their proposal as misguided. The African leaders were seeking agreement on a series of confidence-building measures, even as Kiev last week began a counteroffensive to push back Russian forces. I would like to emphasize that Russia treats with great respect the principal position of African states in favor of maintaining global and regional stability and security, the peaceful settlement of conflicts, and the formation of a more just model of international relations. On Friday, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that peace talks will require Moscow to withdraw its forces from occupied Ukrainian territory, something Russia has said is not negotiable. Putin reiterated his position that Ukraine and its Western allies had started the conflict long before Russia sent its armed forces over the border in February last year, something they deny. The representatives from Africa included leadership from Senegal, Egypt, Zambia, Uganda, Congo Republic, Comoros, and South Africa. Uganda is heightening its security and has commenced a massive search after militants linked to the Islamic State group massacred at least 41 people, mostly students, in the western parts of the country near the border with the DRC. The country's First Lady said the government was still investigating the whole incident.
However, the government, through the security agencies, is trying to follow up what actually happened, and it is on the top of the situation. We believe that justice will prevail.
Officials and witnesses said guns and knives were used in a grisly late-night assault and dormitories set ablaze at Lubiriha Secondary School in Mpondwe. Some students recounted the incident, terming it horrific. We hadn't yet fallen asleep when we had people arriving and saying, "Open up, open up." We didn't reply. Then they started shooting at the windows and the doors. We went to hide under our beds on the floor. As they continued to shoot at the windows, one of us was hit by a bullet and started shouting, "Help, come and help me." When they could open the door, they continued to shoot at the windows, then set fire to our dormitory while we were inside. They then moved on to the girls' dormitory. The military said it was pursuing the attackers from the Allied Democratic Forces ADF, who also abducted 6 people during a raid on a school late Friday before fleeing back towards the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is suspected that the attackers ran towards the Virunga National Park, a vast expanse which straddles the border between Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo.
We now have some sports news. In our sports news tonight, the head of Zambia's mission to Morocco, Eliphas Chinyonga, on Saturday paid a courtesy call on the Chipolo Polo COSAFA Cup team in Rabat ahead of Monday night's friendly against Morocco under-23 at Complexe Sportif. Ambassador Chinyonga visited Zambia at the team's hotel in Rabat, where he officially welcomed the team to Morocco and to render his mission's support ahead of the friendly. The friendly is the second of 2 pre-2023 COSAFA Cup build-up games for Chipolo Polo B after losing 3-0 to Kuwait in Cairo on June 12 ahead of their regional title defense at the tournament South Africa will host in Durban from July 5 to 16. Morocco is using the friendly to prepare for the 2023 Under-23 AFCON it is hosting from June 24 to July 8. That sporting note brings us to the end of our news tonight. Before we go, the top stories once again. Government challenged to look beyond the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Police in SAMFYA arrest a 40-year-old man for defiling his 14-year-old stepdaughter. Witchcraft undermining the social cash transfer program in SHAN'GOMBO district. In international news, South African President CYRIL Ramaphosa tells Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war with Ukraine. And in sports news, head of Zambian mission in Morocco visits COSAFA team. Our comment verse of the day is coming from James 1 verse 22. But be doers of the word and not merely hearers who deceive themselves. Again, thank you for watching Camnet Television Main News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.